So I put a post on my community tab on YouTube asking if anybody would be interested in knowing what I use to edit my YouTube videos. And I recently built this computer literally from the ground up, and I thought I would share sort of what I use to make these YouTube videos and give you a little bit of the behind the scenes, and also talk a little bit more about Ryzen 3000 because this was recently launched. It's the Ryzen 7 3700X, and I'm absolutely in love with it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Original Dobo. On this channel, I do drone and tech related content, and sometimes I do a little bit of computer stuff. I promise I'm not becoming a computer channel. I just wanted to expand on a little bit because editing these videos and utilizing this rig is primarily a big part of making my YouTube videos. So I'm gonna be talking about this rig from a creator perspective, somebody who's going to be basically just utilizing this for drone footage or like my real estate walkthrough videos, give you my experience with the Ryzen 7 3700X over the past 4 weeks, let you know what I think of it, and whether it's a good buy if you've been contemplating maybe an Intel chipset. So first things first, this Fantex P400S case is absolutely awesome. I love this case for a couple of reasons. One, it provides a lot of ventilation for this rig. It's also fairly compact for a mid-tower case, but it looks really nice. It does have a tempered glass that goes over the front of it. And matter of fact, I think I accidentally scratched the glass just a little bit ago while I was doing this video. I hope I didn't, but I'm pretty sure I did. Anyways, it mounts with 4 set screws, pretty straightforward and simple. Inside the case, I have the Asus Strix 450F gaming motherboard. I didn't go with the 470 just to try to save a little bit of money. There was a pretty substantial savings, and if you're not using SLI, which is 2 GPUs, there's really no need. And especially with the fact that I'm not gaming, I didn't really think it was going to be a big deal. I am using the Ryzen 7 3700X. I opted not to go with the 3800X because I didn't see a big enough, performance increase to go with that. And I could have went with the 3900X, which is a 12-core processor. This is only 8, but I felt like at that point I may have been just spending money to spend money, and I didn't want to do that. I was trying to keep the budget cost of this build down. I didn't use the Wraith cooler that came with this. I actually gave it away to a friend of mine, and I am using the Corsair H115i cooler with it's a 240 millimeter rad, and it has 140 millimeter fans. And then I went ahead and mounted 2 additional deep cool RGB fans to the front so I can get a push-pull configuration going. It does have 32 gigs of 2666 RAM. I could have went faster, but again, being budget savvy, I just overclocked the RAM to my liking, or I should say to my stable liking, and that's working really well. Ryzen tends to favor faster RAM, so if you can get like 3000 or 3200 megahertz RAM, that's gonna probably do you much better than the 2600, but this is working really well. The GPU of my choice, I actually settled on the RTX 2070 for the GPU. And I had the 2080, but I didn't really notice much of a difference when rendering files between the 2070 to the 2080 to warrant keeping the 2080 for that price tag. So the 2070 is a nice compromise. And again, with not really gaming, I don't think I really need more than that. I do have an Elgato HD 60 card in here as well. That's what I use to stream, and sometimes I'll hook it up to the camera and get those nice crispy live streams. I have an NVMe M.2 Samsung Pro 970 SSD in there. It's a 500 gigabyte, and that's what's holding the main drive and basically my boot for Windows. There's also a 2 terabyte Western Digital drive in here as well that I basically utilize to store all my footage. Believe it or not, I edit primarily off of SSDs. Typically I'm shooting on a Ninja Atmos, and I never transfer my files over to the computer. I literally just plug the SSD into the computer and just start editing right off that. I don't really notice an issue. Like I said, I do have some deep cool RGB fans in here. These are 220 millimeter fans, and then I've got 2 matching 140 millimeter fans, and I think they work really well. They look great, and for the price, I honestly can't complain, and they're pretty quiet. I did go ahead and get some cable extenders. These are the EasyFab cable extenders, and they're very well built. I was actually surprised. They were like 35 bucks, and I think they just overall complete the look. I probably need to tuck them in a little bit more, but all in all, I'm really not gonna complain for what they are. I'm pretty excited about this build. It's benching pretty well. I'm scoring about 34,000 on the benchmark, and it's just able to rip through Premiere Pro, 4K 60, 4K 10-bit. It has no problems. And that was the biggest reason why I upgraded to this processor, was to be able to export video a little bit faster and also be able to render files and use warp stabilizer when I needed it a little bit more efficiently. And this definitely 100% delivers. I edit in Premiere Pro, so whether you love Premiere Pro or hate Premiere Pro, this computer definitely helps out a lot. It's a bit of a beast, but I'll be sure to go ahead and include links down in the description below if you want to replicate this same build. I've been really happy with it. I've used this case for a while, and it's worked really well. But I want to touch a little bit more about this processor because this is relatively new. It's only been out for a couple of weeks. It's the 3rd generation of Ryzen. If you've been contemplating building a rig to edit drone footage, honestly, you can probably get away with even the Ryzen 5 3600X. Before this rig, I had a 2600X, and that thing was more than enough. Literally 80% of my videos from last year were all edited on the previous rig, which was running a Ryzen 5 2600X, and that thing was amazing. These processors pack so much bang for the buck, and it's probably one of the reasons why I'll never switch back to Intel. The only time I'm using Intel is for my laptop, which I'm using a MacBook. It's funny, it's like you can get a great desktop, but to find the perfect laptop, it's really hard, and I think most Windows OEMs really struggle, and there's just too many compromises in the wrong areas for Windows laptops. But for desktops, you can absolutely make the perfect rig, get exactly what you need to be able to edit heavy footage. And this thing absolutely tears apart 4K footage, blazing fast. I'm able to export a 10-minute 4K clip in just under 15 minutes. And that's pretty impressive for 4K on Premiere Pro. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight, show you the build. I'm pretty proud of this. I call it Black Panther, and this will probably be all I do with it going forward for this year. I don't anticipate pulling it apart or rebuilding it. I'm really happy with it. But anyways, guys, if you enjoy these types of videos, sort of like these behind the scenes, definitely drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you've considered building a PC, what's stopping you? Because now with the GPU prices and RAM prices, it is such a great time to go ahead and build one. But if you haven't heard about Ryzen 7, holy crap, you're missing out. This thing is an absolute beast. Yeah, anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Stay original. Wow.